Hey guys and girls, Bored Now back with you. On this video I'm back to talk about episode 2 of Black Dove. It's called A Little Dove. Full spoilers from the start of this review as always. So I was a bit mixed on episode 1. I said it was a solid enough setup episode for the show, and I was quite enjoying the cast and the characters, but there were definitely some plodding moments in it which I weren't so keen on. So overall I was a bit mixed, but definitely it was watchable, and it gave me enough to come back for the second episode. So I think I like this one a little bit more overall than the first one, just because you get a bit more of the Helen character and the Sam character together, and you do get a little bit more into the thick of things. And there's also less of the family drama, which I wasn't so keen on in episode 1. But it's still a little bit shaky at the moment, and it's a little bit of, okay, this is a solid watch. And there's bits that I really enjoy, but then there are still stuff with the main plot and just some of the drama which is running alongside it, which just isn't doing it for me. So there are still iffy moments, and some of it might all come together by the end, and it might be okay, that works really well and everything ties together in a satisfying way, but that does remain to be seen, and there's still stuff which isn't quite to my taste. But another solid episode at least, which I would say is maybe I enjoyed a little bit more than the first one. So the first part of the episode is actually a flashback, and it's a flashback to how Helen first got involved as a spy, how she was first recruited, and her early cases and the start. And we see Sam in the past, he's told by the Sarah Lancashire character to help Helen out and show her the ropes. So we see how they first meet and the first assignment. Also how Helen first meets her husband, and how that is her first assignment, to keep tabs on him as part of the case. And that's sort of how they get involved. Now, I'm not sure if this is going to be something they go back to, this flashback, because as we see in the present stuff, it turns out the husband is quite deeply involved in what's going on with all the China stuff. And yeah, there is a reveal later on, which I will get to. Or if this is just a one-off, just for a bit of context, to show Helen getting her start and setting one or two things up. I'm not sure there's that much in this flashback which makes it okay, you can see why they did the flashback. It just feels like maybe it's just a bit of a context, and it's just a way to show Helen in this very different life as a spy, or just how she got started originally, how she met the husband. So it's maybe a bit of a pet peeve with certain shows nowadays where they do this kind of episode quite a lot. And it's funny how a lot of times it'll be the second episode as well. Not always, but sometimes it is the second episode. I think that happens quite a lot, where the first episode they set things up, and then the second, and it's not all the way through. So I did wonder for a moment if it would be all the way through the episode, we would just be in the flashback. But no, it's the first sort of 20 minutes, something like that, and then we do go to the present. And again, as I said, I'm not sure it really, what you get in it is that important, but it's just a little bit of a context. But I'm not going to complain too much, because I actually enjoyed most of the stuff in the flashback. And I think that's just because you're getting more stuff with Sam and with Helen, and I do like the chemistry between those characters and the dynamic. And when she's out on that first case, which involves her future husband, he's giving her little pointers and tips. He's also like critiquing her a little bit, like sarcastic comments about, yeah, you know that saying about returning to a crime scene, like, is it, then it's a good idea. And he's got that sort of deadpan sarcasm, which Ben Whishaw is doing really well. But again, I'm enjoying the stuff between them. But because the husband is Helen's first assignment, then it does make you wonder if, like, if they are going to return to the flashbacks, if they're going to, like, show a little bit more of maybe why she hasn't been in the spy game for quite a while before, like, the start of the show, or maybe just show a bit more about the husband's involvement, because one of the big things that's implied later on in the episode is they're having the memorial for, I think his name's Colin, who's like the civil servant who Helen had the affair with in the past. And one of the things is that Helen puts a bug on the husband, or she puts a bug in the pub where they're having like this service for him, and she catches the husband talking to this like shady sounding journalist, and they're talking in quite a suspicious way about like trying to cover up the whole China incident, about this journalist like writing a story which sounds a little bit shifty. So at the very least it does imply that the husband knows a bit more than he's letting on to Helen, and that somehow he is involved in all this. And I wonder if that's something which there might be a bit more to if we get some more flashbacks or not. But so okay, that wasn't a bad little hook. Another thing which might be important is that in one of the flashbacks, like just when it's Helen remembering the stuff with Colin, with the dead lover, is that there's just a quick bit of her telling him about the operation, about like Little Doves, so the organisation she works for. And it's just a quick little scene, but I do wonder if that could be important to why he's now dead. Like maybe she gave him too much information. I guess it might suggest that it's someone from the organisation if they found out that he knew about them, or just somehow that maybe her giving him this information put him in danger. I'm guessing maybe it's just something where it set him on the path and it put him in danger, and maybe that's why he ended up having some involvement with the Chinese ambassador. But that's just a small little tidbit as well to keep an eye on. But as I said, a lot of the fun stuff is Helen and Sam once again. And there is something about Keira Knightley's performance in this where she's clearly enjoying herself, playing quite a different role. And yeah, no, she's pretty strong as playing the assassin. Like, she really gets into those scenes, or like the badass like spy. Because I think my favourite scene of the episode is her like killing the guy who has been sent by whoever's behind this. She tries to find out from him who's behind it and who killed Colin, but he's loyal, he doesn't say a word. But that was a really good scene. That was like quite an intense scene, because he threatens her family, and he does it twice, and she makes a point of saying that's 2 times now, you'll regret if there's a 3rd time. And you just see the fire come out from Keira Knightley, from Helen in the scene. And once again, this show has at least had some quite fun little dialogue, which makes it a bit more like, gives it a bit more of a flavour. So like the kind of like colourful stuff she's talking about, like using like the grater or something, like the cheese grater, and like just different sharp sort of objects in the kitchen to do really bad things, and just the relish in her face was that was really fun. But yeah, you see what a professional she is, because I like them. There's a little bit of a fight back and forth, but she gets control, and you've got like the husband sleeping not that far away, so she's trying to do all this in quite a discreet way, and she motions for the other guy to go out to the garden, and she leads him into the shed, and that's where she kills him. And there's a thing next day where like the Sarah Lancashire character says, well, we need to move that body from the garden shed, which is quite funny as well. But that's my scene of the episode, because it was really intense. There was some fun dialogue in it, and it was a good like scene for Helen, because I quite like how she was really smart, but also quite deadly in the scene. Quite, you saw the ruthless streak come out of her in the scene. So definitely my scene of the episode. The stuff with Sam in the episode, apart from the stuff where he's, playing off Helen. So the present stuff with Sam, I didn't really like. I think this is some of the stuff where it's a bit like there's just a bit too much drama going on with certain things, or there's just, I don't know, that there's just a bit too much with certain characters from his past, because he's approached in the CAF by the organisation that he used to work for, and we find out, we see one of them, it's the Irish girl, the blonde Irish girl who was in the last episode. So she was one of the two who went after Helen. When Helen was in the house and she got the laptop. There's no more from that, by the way, but one of those two, and the other one is the one that Sam killed. So that's why he's now back on their radar, and it's one of those, again, a little bit more of a comedic scene, but they're just in there trying to recruit him. They're saying, okay, we've got this job, and if you don't do it, we're going to go after your ex-lover. And he's pretending that he doesn't really care, they can just kill him. But so he's trying to call their bluff, but they don't take the bait. And realistically, he still cares about the guy, and if he's any sort of decent bloke, probably doesn't want to see him get killed, so he agrees to do the job. And it's when he's on that job, that's how we end the episode, where there's, I don't know if you call it a reveal, but it's just a tease for something, because he goes into this building, and this guy is already dead, and then there's like a camera, like one of those small type cameras, and on it there's footage of the Chinese ambassador's daughter, who's like tied up to a bed and kidnapped, and you hear someone talking to her in the room, but it's not really clear. And that's like the cliffhanger of the episode, and I'm not sure, because Sam's been sent on this mission, I guess they're just saying that there's some sort of link to this, and like this organisation, which is the one he used to work for. But I don't know if it's going to lead to some sort of a clue that he's going to have of maybe where she might be, if they've kidnapped her, or if maybe it's this other people who maybe they have an interest in like recovering her, like maybe someone's paying them to try and get her back, so they're going to try and get Sam, who is, well, technically already on the case, but I guess his well, not exactly, but his thing is more about finding out who killed Helen's ex-lover, the civil servant. But that's how it ends anyway. So a little bit of intrigue at the end there. I'm not quite sure what to think of, what the ending is meant to feel, but I think just at times certain things like the stuff with those characters from Sam's past, like it just wasn't that interesting to watch, and it was where maybe there was a little bit too much going on. And even though I could see there was like some connection to the case, it it didn't feel like it was done in like an interesting way. Like it just felt maybe it's just there for a little bit of drama and a little bit of because they're connected to Sam and this is like his past. But who knows it? Like it could surprise me if it turns out to be this really interesting reveal and everything links up nicely. Then it might still impress me. But that was definitely some of the weaker stuff. Um, Overall, it's a solid episode. Once again, some of the politics wasn't really that engaging. Like, I don't think the writing has made that really engaging, which I said was like a problem in the first episode. But yeah, I would say solid again. I probably enjoyed it a little bit more than the episode one, but maybe once again, the mystery is still a little bit on the plodding side. Like, I'm not 100% sold on the mystery, but yeah, solid stuff. I'm again at least enjoying the characters and their interactions, and there's some decent enough action scenes. So that's episode 2 of Black Doves. Let me know what you think if you've seen the episode in the comments below, and like and subscribe. And yeah, I think I'll come back for episode 3 at least, so look out for that at some point later in the week. But thanks for listening, guys. See you soon. Bye.